detained, deported, barred from coming back for life, all for a misdemeanor? Sounds impossible, right? That can't be right. Yes, not only is it possible, it's actually routine in immigration law. If the immigration judge finds that you've been convicted of an aggravated felony, then you're going to get denied bond during the whole time you're in deportation, so you're not getting out. 2, you're going to be unable to apply for any kind of relief, no matter how long you've been here or how pristine your previous record was. That means no cancellation of removal, no asylum, no waivers. You're going to get your butt deported. And guess what? Then you can't come back. I mean, in the regs, the regulations, it says you're barred from coming back for 20 years. But in reality, you're permanently considered inadmissible, which means you're not allowed back. There's something you can apply for, but it's almost never granted. So we're just saying, if you find that you have, even if it was a misdemeanor, the judge says this is an aggravated felony, you got yourself a big, big problem. In the Immigration and Nationality Act, there's a specific list of offenses that are spelled out. There's about 30 of them. The section is INA, section 101A43, also known as 8 USC, section 1101A43, if you want to look it up. Now, some of these make sense, right? Murder, that's an aggravated felony. Rape, sure, aggravated felony. But there's so many of them that don't make any sense, that are considered misdemeanors in the states, in each individual state. But for immigration purposes, they're considered felonies. Oh, and by the way, immigration doesn't care if the case was suspended. Let's say your criminal attorney says, let's say this is your second shoplifting offense, and he's got you this great deal where you're going to get 1 year, but the sentence is going to be suspended. So you're going to get to walk, right? Not good. Not good, because that's a theft offense, and the sentence is for a year or more. We're going to talk about maybe something you can do before you actually get that sentence, but that would make you an aggravated felon. I'm going to give you 7 state misdemeanors that can be aggravated felonies. Misdemeanor theft, like what I just mentioned. That's if the sentence is 1 year or more. See if you can get the judge to give you a sentence of 364 days. Then you're okay. 365 days, not okay. Simple drug possession with intent to sell, aggravated felony, even if it's pled down to a misdemeanor in your state. Domestic violence assault, if it qualifies as a crime of violence. That's a term of art. I can talk about that in some other video. What is a crime of violence? Fraud involving $10,000 or more. So let's say you write a bad check for 15 grand. Aggravated felony. Sexual abuse of a minor. And that can be very broadly defined. We all think we know what that is, but it could be very broadly defined. Firearm possession by a non-citizen. False imprisonment. Like, what's false imprisonment? That's like if you lock your girlfriend in your apartment because you're drunk and you think she's been cheating on you and you're not going to let her out. That's called false imprisonment. I think that's what O.J. Simpson got convicted of? Because he locked people in his hotel room because they wouldn't give him back his stuff or something. I forget. It's been a while. So if it involves violence or a 1-year sentence, so that's for the false imprisonment. Okay, so here's a couple of things that you need to think about. If you're a permanent resident or you're simply here without any kind of documentation, or you're a student, or you're whatever, and you get charged with something, anything, make sure your attorney knows, your criminal attorney knows, that you're not a U.S. citizen. Don't just think that they're going to know you're not a U.S. citizen. Number 2, before you take a plea, talk to an immigration attorney, not just your criminal attorney. This is something that should be going on the whole time. The criminal attorney should have an immigration attorney that they talk to. Or you might have an immigration attorney and he suggests a criminal attorney. Make sure, 2 things, you're talking to both of those attorneys and they're talking to each other. Criminal attorneys are a little bit more sophisticated than they were 10 years ago, but a lot of them have no idea about immigration and what the consequences can be of these types of deals. And like I mentioned earlier, if you can keep the sentence under 365 days, make sure you do it. You might be able, your attorney might be able to recategorize some of those crimes. Seek alternate statutes that don't trigger immigration consequences. There's also some post-conviction relief, but a lot of immigration attorneys don't do that, so you might need a specific immigration attorney who's going to be able to help you with post-conviction assistance. For instance, can they vacate the conviction because the plea was defective? Every case is different. So you have to be very, very careful and make sure you're as open and honest with your attorneys as you possibly can. Another thing to keep in mind is that there are severe criminal penalties for unauthorized re-entry. I mean, it's bad enough if you re-enter after getting deported. That can get you locked up for a couple of years. If you do it twice, I think you can get locked up for 5 years. However, if you re-enter after having been deported because you're an aggravated felon, that has a sentence of up to 20 years. They're not playing. Okay? So, it's very, very important that you talk to an immigration attorney as well as a criminal attorney if you've been charged with a crime. There's also some limited exceptions in very exceptional cases, such as wrongful deportations or procedural errors. Courts have ordered the U.S. government to facilitate the return of deported individuals. This might sound familiar if you're watching this in 2025. These are very exceptional cases. So, just saying. I hope you found this helpful. If you did, please hit like and subscribe for more immigration law updates. By the way, if you want a consultation, please feel free to call me at 267-269-6155. I charge $200 for a consultation, just so that you know, but I'll be more than happy to help you if I can review your documents. If there's something I can do, if you want a second opinion, feel free to give me a call. At this point, I'm going to say adios, and I know it's adios, porque yo hablo español. Have a good day.